Hi, everybody. I am very happy to be here right now. I'm so sorry that it took us a minute. Once again, we're all kind of experimenting with this, but I am super, super excited to be sharing this story with you. So first of all, my name is Missy, and I work at Whale and Dolphin Conservation in Massachusetts. Many of you have had a chance to see my colleagues and friends, Michelle and Sabrina and Monica and Colleen, and maybe even Stephen. And today it's my turn, and I'm going to share probably my favorite book on whale poop. There aren't a lot out there, but this one is specially written for a younger crew. So sit back and enjoy. Whale poo, written and illustrated by Amy Estes. There is magic everywhere in the world for those who have eyes to see it. Hello, my name is Sebastian the seahorse, and I live in a magical kingdom under the sea. Follow me on an adventure and meet some of my friends. We will discover some of the roles my friends play in our ocean kingdom. Sebastian the seahorse is a type of fish. So fish have these things in common. They have a backbone, they live in water, they have gills to help filter oxygen from the water, and they have fins to help them move through the water. When I think about the things that all fish have in common, I can only think of one thing that we have in common with fish, and that's the backbone. If you reach around right now and go to touch that big bone that runs down the middle of your back, that's your backbone. And that's what fish have too. Oh, look, here comes my friend Seamus the sea turtle. Sea turtles eat lots of seagrass, which keeps it from overgrowing. This keeps our ocean home healthy. Sea turtles can live to be 150 years old. Seamus, how old are you? I am 102, which makes me one of the oldest and wisest animals that live under the sea. So all reptiles have these things in common. And Seamus the turtle is a reptile. So they have a backbone, just like we do and just like fish do. They breathe air. They have scales or scutes covering their body. They're cold-blooded, which means that they need the warmth from the sun, or if any of you have a pet reptile, you might have a heat lamp or a heating pad in their cage, and that's what they depend on in order to remain active or be active. And the other cool thing about reptiles is that most of them will hatch from an egg. Oh, I see another friend. It's Hattie the horseshoe crab. Did you know that horseshoe crabs are some of the oldest animals on the planet? Hattie, you're older than Seamus, and you're older than the dinosaurs. Does that make you super wise also? Oh no, I don't think so, Sebastian. I still haven't figured out how not to get stuck on my back. However, my eggs that I lay on shore in the sand are food for the shorebirds. So in this way, I keep our ocean friends healthy. Where our office is and where I live in Plymouth, we have horseshoe crabs that live in our waters here. And so we'll often find them on the beach. One thing sometimes I see people do is that they'll go to pick up the horseshoe crab by their tail, and that's not a good way to pick up a horseshoe crab. It's much safer to pick them up on either side of their body, just like you see this little girl doing. Horseshoe crabs don't have teeth and they don't have claws, so there's no way that they can pinch you or bite you. So if you happen to find one on their back, like you see Hattie here, you can just go over, grab it on either side and flip it back and let it be. Sebastian wants you to now come and meet my most amazing friend. She lives here in the sea. My best friend, Salt. Salt is a humpback whale and one of the biggest animals that live in the ocean. All mammals have a backbone. We're a mammal. We already felt our backbone in the back. We're warm-blooded. We breathe air. Take a deep breath with me. We produce milk to feed the babies, and we have fur or hair. I have hair. I'm going to guess that you probably have some hair that you can touch. If you don't have hair on your head, you have hair up your nose and on your arms and on your legs. Some of you might be wondering about whales, though. I'm looking at this picture of Salt, and I'm going, all right, where is Salt hair? Well, whales, especially these humpbacks, have hair follicles, and that's where you can see sometimes. So here you can see the yellow arrows are pointing to something called a tubercle, and that's where the hair is for a humpback whale. The red arrow that you can see on your screen, I just wanted to mark that too. So mammals breathe air, just like we took our deep breath. So right there where the red arrow is, that's marking Salt's blowholes. And Salt's blowholes, which are at the top of her head, are just like our nostrils. There are 2 of them on humpback whales, and that's how she's able to take those deep, big breaths in, so she can hold her breath when she goes diving underwater. Salt is also a magician. She makes things grow. Sebastian, how many times do I have to tell you? It's not magic, it's science. No, Seamus, it's magic. Listen. Seamus, when Salt swims up to the surface of the water, she poops a lot. Then after she poops, everything grows. So her poop must be magic. That's a picture of a real humpback whale pooping. There's a lot of it, and it looks just like the picture of Salt. Sebastian, it's not magic, it's science. Salt's poop helps tiny plants in the water to grow. These plants are called plankton. So I don't know if you can see my cursor moving. All those tiny green specks that are up at the top of the water in this picture, those are the plankton, or phytoplankton in this case. So there are 2 types of plankton. Zooplankton are really tiny animals, and some whales eat zooplankton. This phytoplankton here, these little tiny green things, are like plants that float on the ocean surface. So when you think about plants that are growing on land, if we were to step outside, we'd see grass and trees and flowers. And so the green part of the plant is getting the sun because it needs that to grow. But our plants on land, as you can see by the red circled part, it has roots that are able to go into the ground. And these plants that live here on land are able to pull nutrients, kind of like vitamins, that will help them grow stronger. Now, if you think about the phytoplankton that's floating at the top of the ocean because it needs to get the sun at the very top, it wouldn't get the sun if it was down deep. Those phytoplankton don't have roots that can go down into the ocean floor. So they have to get their nutrients someplace else. And if you think about plants on land, some of you may have a garden or may have visited a farm or know somebody who has houseplants. And sometimes those plants get fertilized. So sometimes people use cow poop for fertilizing. Sometimes there are other special mixtures, compost. If you throw away your old food waste and you put it outside and mix it up and let it get all rich with nutrients, you can put that on your plants as well. So phytoplankton, or plankton in the ocean, they don't have anything like that. So that's where our friends, the whales, come in. There's too much pressure on a whale's body when they're down deep in the water. The water presses on their body and it doesn't allow anything to come out. So they have to swim to the top of the ocean. And that's when they poop. And their poop scatters throughout and it acts as fertilizer for the phytoplankton. The more poop, the healthier and more phytoplankton we have. Let's see what Sebastian thinks about that. Plankton is food for many sea creatures like jellyfish, snails, and shrimp. Oh, I think I understand now, Seamus. So the more whales in the ocean, the more whale poop there is. And the more whale poop there is, the more plankton grows. The more plankton grows, the more food there is for fish, snails, and other sea creatures like me. The more fish, snails, and sea creatures, the healthier our oceans are. And the healthier our oceans are, the more friends I have to play with. Okay, Seamus, maybe there is some science to it all, but I still think it's magical. I mean, wow, salt poop makes things grow. So there you have it. Now you know why my friends and I here under the sea are super excited about whale poop. And you should be too. Known as the Grand Dame or grandmother of the North Atlantic, Salt the humpback whale has been sighted off the coast of Cape Cod for more than 40 years. Salt is the mother of 14 calves and 15 grandcalves to date. So this book, as you can see in the picture at the bottom, was written in 2018. And since 2018, Salt has had one more calf, so she's up to 15. She has 16 grandcalves and 2 great grandcalves. So she's a great grandmother. Some people adopt Salt through whale and dolphin conservation, and we have her family tree. So if you think back to the picture of the whale I showed you pooping, that was actually one of Salt's babies, Epsom. Here are the references for the book. I want to thank Amy Estes. She had talked to us a lot before she did this, and I really appreciate that she let us share this with all of you today. So one of the things, let me switch over. So one of the things I wanted to let you know is we have a worksheet that has just a couple of questions on there, and 2 of them, the answers are for you to draw. If you'd like to do that, that's going to be posted in our comments. And for those of you who are joining us for the very first time, if you've enjoyed this and this was geared for our younger crowd, please go back and check through our Facebook page. We have lots of videos here, and our topics range from whale anatomy, which my friend Michelle just did, to the different types of whale, to how big a whale is, different whales are. So I encourage you to go back there. Also on our website, whales.org, we have a special education page in addition to our species guide, and probably just about all the information you might want to know about whales, including whale poop. So we call that idea of the whales in the ocean pooping and helping the phytoplankton the green whale, because the phytoplankton are responsible for producing probably over half of the Earth's oxygen. And this is what we're breathing every day. So we thank the trees and the other plants on land, and then we thank whales and phytoplankton for every breath that we take. I hope you enjoyed today's presentation. If you have questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments. We'll answer them for you. We'll have information about where you could get this book also posted in the comments. And then also share this with anybody who has young kids who would enjoy knowing a little bit more about whales, the ocean creatures, and how important whale poop is. Thank you.